Hi, this is Rob Rienow with Visionary Family Ministries. If you tell someone that you are pro-life, oftentimes you'll be met with a question, well, are you pro all of life? In other words, do you only care about babies in the womb and not care about people after they're born? It kind of reminds me of some of the conversations around the Black Lives Matter movement. If a person says Black Lives Matter and someone responds with all lives matter, the person who says Black Lives Matter is probably not real happy with that. And it's not because they don't believe that all lives matter. It's that what they're saying when they say Black Lives Matter is that they're trying to say that there's a particular group of people that has suffered particular injustices. And this is a group that we need to speak out for and advocate for. And saying all lives matter just right away kind of minimizes the urgency of the situation and the injustice that they're trying to call attention to. And I think this is a similar thing that goes on when a person says pro-life and someone says, well, are you pro all of life? Now, here's the piece of that. I've been wrestling with why that conversation happens over and over again. Why is there this, well, are you pro all of life, which serves to sort of distract from this particular group of people, the particular group of the unborn that we're trying to advocate for and speak out for. And here's the thing that I miss. And honestly, I'm kind of kicking myself that I missed it, but I missed it. I have learned over the years is that whenever there's an attack from secular culture on a Christian position, the attack is not a subtle one. The attack is not just like a little tweak. The attack is 180 degrees opposite of reality. So the attack is, well, are you pro all of life? Kind of like, hey, you just care for babies in the womb and pretty much you hate everybody else. Once a person's born, you don't care about kids. You don't care about the poor. You don't care about the sick. You don't care about the elderly. You're just obsessed about this issue of abortion. Well, the reality is the exact opposite. I did this little survey and I checked it out, and you can do the same thing. I want you to check with your churches in town. How many of your churches in town have organized ministry to help and bless children? They've got children's ministry of one kind or another for the church families as well as for the community. I'll bet every church in your community has ministry to kids. How many of your churches have ministry for the sick and do visitation in the hospitals? I'll bet every single one of your churches has ministry of visitation, ministry for people who are sick. How many of your churches have a ministry of benevolence, a ministry of poverty care, caring for people in the church and in the community who are in need? Every single one of your churches has a ministry like that. How many of your churches have refugee resettlement ministries? Tons and tons of churches, tons of Christians around the country are involved in refugee resettlement. But let me ask you this. How many of your churches have a specific ministry, budgets and staff and programs and intentionality to save unborn babies? And the answer on that point is very, very few of our churches have intentional ministries with budgets and volunteers and teams and programs like we do for everything else. But we don't have it for this. So the reality is, the reason why you have some people who are so vocal and so passionate about trying to save babies in the womb is that this is a piece of our Christian ministry where we are falling short. We are advocating and blessing lives and human lives, kids, the sick, elderly, the immigrants, everywhere, and praise God for all of those things. But the area where we're short, the area where we're the most silent, is in advocating for the unborn. So I want to encourage you, this is a time in our nation where we need to passionately increase the volume of our voice advocating for the unborn. 500,000 children are being killed each year. Imagine if 500,000 people in any particular group were being taken out of nursing homes and killed. 500,000 children taken out of schools and killed. You see, the Christian worldview is that a baby in the womb is of equal value, worth, and dignity to a baby outside the womb. And think about this with me. Let's say that there was a politician. There's 100 issues on the table, and you agree with that politician about 99 issues. But that politician thinks that it is acceptable for a parent to bring a 5-year-old child to the doctor to have the doctor kill the child. Would your agreement on those 99 issues, override your disagreement on that one? Of course not. If there was a politician who believed that it was acceptable to take grandma to the doctor to have the doctor kill grandma, even if you agreed with that politician on every single other issue, you would never vote for them. Because that one issue of justice and morality and life would override your agreement on anything else. And that's what we're facing in this election. So I just want to encourage you. This is not a time for those of us that are advocating for life from conception to natural death to become more quiet and to become more sheepish, but to preach it, to share it, to advocate, to give, to volunteer, and vote.